Good afternoon, Madam Witness. Welcome back. Madam Witness, for continuation of your testimony before this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters, may I remind you that you are still under oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, over to you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Njie.
Good afternoon, Ma.
You are welcome back.
Thank you, Ma.
Council, you may proceed.
You explained the reason why you're no longer working there.
Wow.
Yes. Now, let's start by, or with the time you were working as a procurement officer.
As a procurement officer.
Wow, Bahna.
Yes.
How many of you were working in the procurement unit?
Procurement unit
in 2014.
When we came in 2014,
Amun a specialized procurement unit at B.C.C.
There wasn't any specialized procurement officer at the B.C.C.
Why? Bunyo.
But when we came,
then dafa am kunjele from the cleansing service.
They took someone or somebody from the cleansing service.
By the name Dauda Hafna.
By the name Mr. Dauda Hafna.
So bunyowe.
When we came,
then you want them on a training at the Management Development Institute.
We were told that we will go to Management Development Institute for a training.
After training, bobu nono.
Then after that training,
sila ñoo mëna determine ci suñ performance kan moy wara head the SPU.
That is how they are going to determine through our experience who is going to head the office.
The SPU, the
SPU
procurement unit, right?
Yes.
Proceed. Yes. Now, did you finish this training?
Nena finish training bo mba da ngeen ko jeexalon?
Jeexaluñ ko parce que start nañ.
No, we did not finish it. We started it.
At a certificate level.
Up to a certificate level.
Wow, buñ bamé bay wara def suñ exams.
And when we went on up to, we need to do our examination.
The course coordinator by then.
But the course coordinator at the time.
Dafa ñëw mention ñu ñaar suñ touré né comme suñ institute from fuñ joggé council.
He mentioned the two of us that the council we came from.
Fayaluñ ñu suñ tuition fees.
They did not pay for our school fees.
Te bés bobu lañ warona start suñ exams.
And that was the very day that we should start our examination.
Why come suma colleague bi dafa nekk that shy type.
But that of my colleagues, he was in a high type.
So man ma doon wax on behalf of him.
And I was working on behalf of him.
So non la ñaane course coordinator be.
Very well.
Please listen to what she is saying and you translate it as she said it.
Very well.
Thank you.
Please
go ahead.
Proceed.
Non la ñaane course coordinator be nekkoon na ñu baalal ñu sit pull exam before that day.
That is how I appeal to him so that we can be able to sit for the examination on that very day. When we close,
ñu dem back to council.
Then we'll go back to council.
Ñu report issue be.
There we can report our issue.
The course coordinator bi momit nanguloon nañu ko.
But the course coordinator too, he agreed to that.
Léegi ñu dem buñ jeexalee suñ paper bi.
When we finished the paper, we then went.
ñu dem to the Director of Finance.
We went to the Director of Finance.
Mr. Abdoulaye Nyang, who was the then Director of Finance.
And Abdoulaye Nyang, he was the then Director of Finance.
So nonu lañ pleadé ak mom.
That is how we pleaded with him.
Mu ne ma mom ñu dem ci CEO bi.
And he directed us to the CEO.
So there was the communication but transpired between mom CEO bi and the then Director of Administration,
And
Mr. Matan
Njie. A communication that transpired between the two, the CEO and the Director of Finance.
And I think that there was a
you are not the Director of Finance, the Director of Admin.
That Director of Admin. Very well.
So
if you are having challenge, we can suspend the sitting, because if you don't translate correctly, we will not have the records correct.
Okay, it's all right.
Because you will have the records recording what she said, and you translating something different.
In a different way. Thank you, ma'am. Very well. Go ahead.
Legi communication, before na def a communication through pull them to the institute, Management Development Institute.
And I thought there was a communication that they did to the Management Institute.
Léegi ñu bàyyi ñu def suñ exam si.
And there they left us to go ahead with our examinations.
Why after loolu?
From there, after that,
nanguwuñu proceed to the next level.
Allowed us to proceed to the next level.
Ak pour ñu def suñ external examinations.
And for us to do the external examinations.
After boom defee suñ certificate at MDI.
When we did our certificate at the MDI,
I think ne ñun fofu dañu def ñu dormant nanguwuñu involved in any procurement activities.
I think we were made dormant because we were not allowed to involve in any procurement activities.
Why man dama feel ne after gis na Dawda.
But for me, I feel that, but later I saw Dawda.
Moom mu ngi doon def procurement.
Dawda was doing procurement.
Without man.
Who is Dawda?
Nena sona Dawda.
Dawda Hafna, small colleague bi by
Dawda Hafna is my colleague in Banjul.
Because moom dañ ko jëlee from the cleansing service.
He was the one they took from the cleansing service.
Yes.
So he was engaged in procurement activities.
Nena moom moo engaged in procurement activities.
Wow.
Yes.
And you were appointed, you were the assistant procurement officer.
Nena yaa nekkoon assistant procurement officer.
Why come ni ma la ko waxee previously?
Nena yaa nekkoon the assistant procurement officer.
Why come ni ma ko waxee previously?
As I said earlier on,
suñ performance.
Our performance.
Moom moo wara outline kan moo waroon a head the procurement unit.
That should be the outline who should head the procurement office.
Why ñoom defuñ woon loolu?
But they did not do that.
Between you and Dawda?
Yes.
Nena sa digante Dawda.
Waaw man
Yéen ñaar yi.
suma digante Dawda.
Yes.
And you had better grades?
Exactly.
Nena kon yow yaa na am grade yu baax.
Waaw mooy lu am.
Yes, that's correct.
But Dawda was the one who was appointed to be your senior?
Exactly.
Nena waaye ci kaw loolu Dawda lañ jëloon ñu teg ko sa kaw.
Wow.
Yes.
So what was he at the time, a procurement officer?
He was the procurement officer.
Yes, he was the procurement officer at the time.
And do you know why?
Nena nda xam nga woon lana taxoon loolu?
Did it not to my knowledge.
No, not to my knowledge.
All right. Now you became the procurement officer, assistant procurement officer, and Dawda was the procurement officer.
Nena kon yaa nekkoon acting or assistant procurement officer, Dawda moo nekkoon procurement officer bi.
Wow, noonu la ko gaay doxalee woon
That is
by
how
then.
they put us.
Was there a contracts committee?
Nena da ngeen fa amoon contracts committee.
Wow, amoon na a contracts committee.
Yes, we do have a contract committee.
Te in every contracts committee.
And in every contracts committee,
Procurement officer be.
the procurement officer
Momo they serve as a secretary to the contracts committee.
do serve as the secretary to the contract committee.
Okay. And was this contracts committee meeting?
Nena
frequently?
contract committee bi dañ dee am meeting frequently.
Wow, contracts committee be dañ dee am meeting waaye nekkul ne dañ dee involve the procurement actors.
Yes, they do have meetings, but they don't involve the procurement officers.
What do you mean by that? Is Dawda John? Is it Dawda John?
Dawda Hafna.
Hafna, sorry. Is Dawda not part of the contracts committee?
Nena nda Dawda Hafna moom bokkul ci contract committee bi.
By then, not to my knowledge, how man that mungi wants a contracts
At that
committee.
time, not to my knowledge, I
waxuñ
don't
ma
know
ko.
whether he was in the contract committee or not.
Now you explained there was a period in 2019 that you were dormant, not doing anything. There was no work allocated to you. At some point you had an encounter or you met Fatou Tall.
Then I wax nga woon ne 2019 dafa amoon jamono bi nga xam ne da nga dormant because of amuloo li nga xam ne bala joxuñ la yoon pour ngay liggéey waa fekka nga foofu ku ñëw wax
Fatou Tall, the deputy CEO.
Fatou Tall mooy deputy CEO.
You are very right. Li nga wax mooy dëgga.
Yes, that is true.
2019.
2019.
Dafa dama dormantoon te well before loolu la sax.
I was dormant, but that was even before that.
Mooy well before moom Fatou Tall di ñëw to the council.
This was well before Fatou came to council.
Waaye moom bi mu ñëwee.
But when she came,
dafa gis ne I was dormant.
she realized that I was dormant.
So mu ooma engagement.
She then called me and engaged me
si office mayor be.
in the office of the mayor.
So sila ma laaj.
There she asked me,
ma wax ko suma constraints ma go through council.
I then told her all the constraints that I face in council.
Mu laaj ma suma qualifications eh.
She then asked me about the qualification that I have.
Ma wax ko lan la achieve.
Then I told her all the qualifications that I
So
acquired.
mom sila deal it up to mom.
Then that she took things into her hands
Mu binda a memo.
and wrote a memo
Mu joxe ko to all user departments at the council.
so that she can serve it to all user departments in council.
And did that change the situation?
Ninandalo the forward situation be.
Did it? Not
No.
Be legi lolu taxut situation be changed.
Still the situation was not changed.
Parce que binda na 2 memos la binda sa, not only 1 memo, ñaari memo la
She
binda.
don't even end up writing 1 memo, she wrote 2 memos.
At some point as well, there was the issue of your movement to the Ostend project, to
No,
the
I'm not-
Ostend Coordinator's office.
Jamano bi nga xamne tamita dañ la move on ci office yi
Ostend Coordinator's office.
Oxten coordinator's office.
Can you explain that?
Dina mba mun nga ñu leral fofu.
Wow, dañ ma redeploy on
Yes, I was redeployed
being as a procurement officer
being a procurement officer
to the rates office.
to the rate office.
While lolu yeb am na lu ko sabapon.
But all that there was a cause.
Parce que dafa amone lu transpire
There something had transpired
suma digante ak the then CEO
between myself and the then CEO
concerning about a particular procurement.
concerning about a particular
Is
procurement.
that Mustafa Bacheli?
Yes, it's
Nanda
Mustafa.
koku Mustafa Bakilila.
Wow, Mustafa Amara Bachelela.
Yes, Mustafa Amara Bakili.
Please proceed.
Nena mun nga continue.
Wow, through lolu dafa
Through
am
that-
procurement bu am.
It happened that there was a procurement that we had.
Parce que dañ ma binda a memo
I was written a memo.
on the 23rd of June
This was June 23rd
concerning a tendering of a procurement.
concerning tendering of a procurement.
Procurement 13 lu involved $13 million.
And that procurement involved $13 million.
More the procurement of the trash bins. Trash bins.
And that was the procurement of the trash bins.
Wow. So when ma in parce que man musuñ ma invite sen contracts committee.
But for me, as I said, I was never been invited to the contracts committee.
Ndeke ñom prior to that ñom dañ defoon sen li naka la tuddaate defoon sen bidding documents yeb ñu send ko to GPPA.
They prepared all their bidding documents and sent it to the GPPA.
Loo xam ne GPPA dañ ko turn down.
And that was turned down by the GPPA.
Parce que there was amutoon a proper procurement plan.
There wasn't any proper procurement plan.
Ba pare the amount bu entail pour procurement bi.
And the amount entailed for the procurement,
Loolu dafa waroon a nekk loo xam ne it was bid for tendering. Dafa waroon a nekk an open tendering.
that should be or supposed to be an open tendering.
Nyala won, namanga, can you remember how much it was?
Sorry.
Nenamba munga fatale ku ñaata la woon.
Like I said before, 13 million.
As I said before, 13 million.
All right, please proceed.
Léegi buñ demee GPPA gars yi dañ turn down seen léegi naka la tuddaati procurement process bi.
So when they went to the GPP, it was turned down. Their procurement plan was turned down
Parce que specifications yuñ joxe woon
because the specification that they have given
correct to turn.
was
Parce
not
que dafa
correct.
waroon a nekk at 13 million bi mooy woon pour trash bins yi waaye the procurement should have dafa waroon a nekk a trash bins ak trucks yi.
13
three
million-
trucks.
Excuse me.
13 million bi dafa war a nekk pour trash bins yi.
The 13 million they're supposed to be for the trans bins.
Why the procurement being my invite pour ñu discuss on at the contracts committee.
But the procurement that I was invited to the contracts committee to discuss,
dafa waroon a nekk pour 3 trucks.
it should be about the 3 trucks.
3 trucks at 13 million bu waroon a nekk the cost for the trash bins.
3 trucks at a 13 million as the cost of the trash bins.
Man time boobu xaw ma woon ne GPPA dañ leen turn down
But at that time, I wasn't aware that it was turned down by the GPPA
because GPPA felt ne there wasn't the involvement of the procurement officer.
because the GPPA, they realized that there wasn't any involvement from the procurement officer.
So ñoom ñu call ma in
Then I was invited or called in.
léegi buñ demee def deliberation on meeting nag naka la ñoo liyee ma gis
So when we
specification
go and make deliberation about the meetings, I then realized that
specification it was copied and pasted from KMC's specification on their trucks.
specification was copied and pasted from KMC trucks.
So man it ma bañ ne loolu waruta am
I then refused or said that that shouldn't happen
parce que ñu dañ war a def suñ own specification.
because we should do our own specification.
You invite the user department that is going to use the trucks.
Then we invite the user departments, those supposed to use or not supposed to use the trucks.
Parce que in case there is a breakdown,
Because in case, if it happens, there is a breakdown,
that user department ñoom ñoo war a ñëw pour seet ne lii ak lii moo yaaxu so ñoom ñoo war a serve as ñoom suñ advisor.
that the user department should come and tell us what happened or what we should do to the trucks. So they should be the advisors to us.
Which loo xam ne boobu sax agree woon nañ.
And that was agreed.
You invite the mechanic.
To invite the mechanic.
While coming to the trash bins,
But when it comes to the trash bins,
parce que there is this particular supplier of, should I say, a vendor,
there was a special
vendor or supplier,
special vendor or supplier
kuñ tuddee Keba and Sons.
by the name Keba and Sons.
Keba and Sons boobu turam
That Keba and Sons name
dafa bari loo xam ne comme mun naa ne tur household name la in Banjul City Council.
is just like a household names in Banjul City Council.
Parce que in every procurement transaction boo gis rek
Every procurement transaction that you come across,
foofu foog nga gis ne Keba and Sons.
you see Keba and Sons.
So buñ indee ne Keba and Sons lañ bëgg a pour mu qualify for that procurement.
So when I was told, or they said that Keba are the person they choose to be qualified for the procurement,
ma dellu ma bañaat ne loolu mënut a repeat the interpretation. Ms. Njie, please restate what you said so that he can get it. And you take it slowly so that he can interpret. Okay. Mane comme Keba and Sons,
as I said, Keba and Sons
comme tur boo xam ne la
is a name that is,
ñëpp a ko xam biir B.C.C.
everybody knew that name in the B.C.C. So that
léegi bañ ne Keba and Sons lañ bëgg a award contract bi.
now when they said they want to award the contract to Keba and Sons,
parce que man already am naa a clue
because I got a clue already
ne Keba and Sons boobu
that Keba and Sons
dafa bokk ak mayor bi.
is related to the mayor.
te yow ku bokk ak mayor bi.
And a relative of the mayor
ñu war ko award that contract.
shouldn't be award of a contract.
It's a conflict of interest.
That shows that it's a conflict of interest.
You mean, sorry, let me cut you short. You mean the mayors of Banjul,
Yes.
Rohey Malick Lowe?
Yes. Waa kooku lay wax the mayors of Banjul, Rohey Malick Lowe.
Yes, Rohey Malick Lowe, that's the person I'm referring to, the mayor.
te in procurement,
And in procurement,
conflict of interest
the conflict of interest
waruta am waruloo am koo xam ne danga ko xam
should not happen. You should not have somebody that you know
wala sa mbokka
or a relative
ngay ko jox award ngay ko award a contract.
to be awarded a contract.
So man it ma indi leen ma brought it to them.
I then brought it to them.
Ma question the CEO.
I then questioned the CEO.
Ma ne ko why Keba and Sons?
I then asked him why Keba and Sons.
Parce que lii it should have been open tendering.
Because this should be an open tendering.
Parce que 13 million it has gone beyond the threshold.
Because 30 million is beyond the threshold.
So ñu nekk foofu noonu du am push and pull.
There was a push and pull therein.
So ñu ne nañ call off the meeting.
Then we were told to call off the meeting.
What did he tell you at the time?
Parce que moom sax moom at that time.
Oh, at that time,
mu ngi wax ne Miss Njie yaa ngi try pour drag ñu duñu drag.
she was saying that Miss Njie, you are trying to dragging us.
Foog naa ne meeting bi.
I think this meeting
ñu stopangum ko as at now.
should be stopped at now.
Léegi eventually bu ñu wàccee liggéey.
Eventually, when we closed from work,
ma ñibbi ba kër.
I went home.
Ma am a call.
I then had a call.
It was from the CEO.
And this call was from the CEO.
Mu call ma.
Was Mustafa Bachili?
Yes, Mustafa Amara
Yes,
Bachili.
that's correct, Mustafa Amar Bachili.
Please proceed.
léegi bu ma xoolee
When he called me,
mu ne ma Miss Njie
he said to me, Miss Njie,
dañ la soxla si office bi urgently
we need you urgently at the office.
ma ne ko ah mbaa jaama
I then said to him, hope is peace.
mu ne ma just ñëwaat rek
He said to me, just come.
parce que Banjul laa dëkka
Because I'm a citizen of I'm living in Banjul.
so ma nit ma delluwaat si office bi
Then I went back to the office.
bi ma delloo si office bi
When I went back to the office,
ma fekk ko moom ak Katim Touré
I
the
found-
director of planning
I find him with Katim Toure, the director of planning.
ñu ngi toog
They were sitting.
noonu la ma Katim ne ma you can have a seat
Then Katim told me to have a seat.
noonu laa toogee
That is how I seated.
bi ma toogee
After sitting,
Katim a door wax bi
Katim started talking.
mu ne ma yow danga fi nekk waaye nekkuloo fi de only xale
He said to me, you are here, but you are not the only young or child here.
te gën foog naa ne tam gënuloo fee jànga ñi fi nekk yëpp
And I think you are not above, or your education is not above the people you find here.
waaye foog naa ne tam
But I think so.
danga war a ñëw to terms with what we want
You have to come in terms with what we want.
waaye di den CEO
But the then CEO,
comme moom as usual rek mbiram bëggut lu na gaaw rek fat
as usual, because he always thinks things to be
Mu ne ko-
quickly done,
mu ne ko booy dama bëgg nga wax kii liy dëgga
he then said to him, boy, I want you to tell him what is the truth.
by the ba time boobu yëpp maa ngi leen a jox an listening ear
I was listening to them.
léegi Katim mu ne ma
Then Katim said to me,
upon all the lots ñu nekk BCC
all the lot that in the council BCC here,
mayoress bi single-handedly picked you
the mayoress single-handedly picked you
pour nga àndaa moom dem Turkey
for you to accompany with her to go forward.
time boobu mënatuma leen ma bàyyi pour ñu
Nga anda mom?
pour ma àndaa moom dem Turkey
Okay, for me to accompany her to Turkey.
waaw léegi ma nit mënatuma leen a jox de chance pour ñu continuer seen wax bi
And then that time I said, I decided that I will not give them more chance for them to go ahead with their talking.
parce que man ku ma xam ne de moom ñoom all mënuma leen a ne comme Mr Touré or Mr Bachile ku nekk dama laa wax ne la Uncle Katim
Because both of them, the CEO and Katim, I always call them not by the name but Uncle Katim.
ma ne ko Uncle Katim
I said to him, Uncle Katim,
dama bëgg nga laajal ma mayoress bi
I want you to ask the mayoress
ndax xam naa fu mu dëkka
whether she know where I live.
No.
ndax xam naa fu mu dëkka do I know where she
Okay,
lives
whether I knew where she live.
yes ne ko laajal ma ko ndax xam naa fu mu dëkka
I then told him that ask her whether I know where she live,
wala mus naa koo ñaan any favor ne ko defaral ma lii
whether I have ever pleaded to him for a favor for her to do something for me.
wala mus concerning about tukki bi nga wax ndax mus naa dugg office am ne ko yóbbu ma ma tukki
Or the journey you are talking about, whether I have gone to her office and said, please help me to travel.
parce que man suma tukki ak mayoress bi
Because my travel with mayoress,
information bi awma any channel loo xam ne wax naa ko taxaw naa ko ak man ma mayoress bi
the information, we have no channel there. It have never happened for me to stand or discuss with her about the journeys or traveling.
everything came through Fatou Tall
Everything came through Fatou Tall.
parce que Fatou Tall moo ma oo by then maa ngi woon suma office mu
Because
call
it
ma
was
on telephone
Fatou Tall who called me while I was in the office.
mu ne ma ñëwal fekk ma office yi mayor léegi nii
She then said to me, come and meet me at mayor's office right now.
te bu ma fa demee
When I went there,
maa ngi ko fekk mu ngi toog ak Aïssatou Njie
I found her sitting there with Aissatou Njie.
I think she was the referrals coordinator also
I think she was the referrals coordinator.
parce que man maa moo ma waroon a ànd to that trip ak mayoress bi
Because myself and her and the mayoress should travel together in that trip.
noonu la ma fàttal ne ma ndax sa passport bi is still valid
Then Fatou Tall asked me whether my passport is still valid.
ma ne ko déedéet suma passport bi expire
I
na
said to her, no, my passport is already
but
expired.
jokingly mu wax ma ne ma xam nga yow lii laa dee wax si sa ñàkk siri doo dee jël things seriously
But jokingly, she said to me that this is what I normally tell you because you never take things seriously.
so Aïssatou Njie tam moom it the same thing mu ne ma tey duñ la wax the good news fekk fàttal tam feyu ma mu ne Aïssatou Njie moo ne fàttal ne ko fekk feyu leen ma buñ ko wax the good news nañu fay
Okay, I said to, she then said to me that pay for me, I have a good news for you.
Fatal ne ko dedet ki
No, Mr. Bojang, that's not it. Listen again.
Aissatou Njie moko wax ne ko ki fok mu fay ñu.
Okay, she said Aissatou Njie says I should pay for them.
Man maa leen war a fay. Man maa ko war a fay.
I know, I should pay for them.
Why, that was a joke.
I know that was a joke.
Well, léegi Fatal ne ko dedet mu ne ma mayor moko call.
Then Fatou then said to her, no, she was called by the mayor.
Ne pour man ma anda mom dafa am a trip to Turkey.
So that I can accompany her because she got a trip to Turkey.
Pour ma act as her personal assistant.
For me to be there as her personal assistant.
Lolu yep weesu.
All that.
Mane Katim ne ko so len ma wax li.
So I said to Katim, if you people are telling me this,
dafa melni da ngeen ma bëgg bribe for something.
that means it seems to be you people want to bribe me for something.
Mu ne ñom sen o biñ ma o fofu nonu.
And she said to me, the call that we made to you this here,
Lolu si Bati Mustafa Bachili moy the then CEO mo ma wax lolu.
that is from the then CEO Bachili, is the one who told us that.
Mu ne mayor mo ne ken mënuta challenge authority am.
And that he said, Mayor said nobody can be able to challenge her authority.
Parce que dégg na lu xew ci meeting bobu nonu.
Because she heard what happened on that meeting.
Te mo mënuta boot ku am dëkk ci gannaawam be.
And she cannot be able to help somebody who have.
No. Repeat that portion.
Ne mayor mu ne mënuta boot ku am dëkk ci gannaawam be.
May I be guided?
Saying, let the commissioner.
May I be guided?
She cannot put on her back somebody who's got tongues.
Tongues, very well. Thank you.
Mu ne mayor mu ne mënuta boot ku am dëkk ci gannaawam be.
Very well.
Te man maa ngi bëgg a nekk an obstacle.
And she said that I want to be an obstacle.
So mom Mustafa Bachele, the then CEO.
And Mustafa Bakili, the then CEO,
mu ne xale bi daf ñu paree yab.
said to me that but this chap want to belittle us.
Parce que dama bëgg a comme ku war a nekk na an obstacle ku bëgg a stand through their fortune.
Because she seems to be an obstacle who want to stand in our fortune.
Why mom did not try to give some of my family members suma mbokay.
He said he will try to see some of my family members.
Ma delu wat tontu wat ko ne ko.
I then repeated an answer to him that.
Ma ne ko yow fo wara dem sa fofu fanale moy gëna metti ci suma family.
I said to him that wherever you wish to go, I think that must be the hard place in my family.
Parce que man fokk na ne man dañ ma yakamti te dañ ma eb.
And I know for me they are bugging me.
Every day, every blessed morning, to step out from suñ kër wara liggéey.
And every day when I'm stepping out from our home to work,
am na lu ma suma yaay dee wax.
my mother always tell me something.
Te moom dafa jaar ci place boobu.
And my mother have been at this
te
place
waruma
before.
steen turam.
And I don't want to stain her name.
So ma loolu moo nekk ci man.
That is what was in me.
So waree dem foofu te yow war nga gën a xam kan moo ma jur.
And if you want to go there, you should know. You should better know that who borns me or who is my mother.
Ma ne ko foofu moom is an out of bounds.
And I told him that that is out of bounds.
So mu ne ma yow Miss Njie mun nga ñëw excuse nga dem parce que yow sa oola fii tam amut njëriñ foogoon nañ ne suñ la ooyee mun nañoo am na ku ñëw mun a waxal koo xam ne dafa gaaw a reason waaye yow pare wuloo ko.
She then said to me, Mr. Njie, I think it's better for you to leave because I think that you should be somebody whom if people talk to you, you will hear what people have said.
Te man foofu laa believe ne.
And from there, I believe that.
That's my story.
About my story.
The dark story bu ma am at B.C.C.
That is the dark story that I have at the B.C.C.
Foofu la emanated.
That is emanated from that.
Yes, definitely you have all the rights with your experience to say that the dark story probably started with the encounter you had with Mr. Njie. Is it Mr. Njie?
No. Mr.
Katim.
Mr. Katim Ture, the director of planning.
And the CEO.
Yes.
Correct. Now, they saw you at the time as an obstacle.
Yes, that's correct.
That is why the CEO said that you are the reason as to why they will not have their fortune.
Yes, that's correct.
And by that statement, what did you understand
Nena si kaddu bobu yow lo understand si waxam bobu.
Lu ma understand mooy
What I understand is that
lu njëkk mooy jox award contract bi to Keba and Sons.
the first thing is to award the contract to Keba and Sons.
Am na lum entail.
It entails something.
Ba pare man am na luñ ma dee.
For me to, there is a way they think of me or they handle me.
Ne am nañ ko.
No, that is not what she meant. Listen to it again.
Comme am na luñ ma dee, comme am na luñ ma wax.
Okay, because I know they have said something about me.
Ne comme
No. That's not correct.
Comme am na luñ ma wax. Somebody told me something before.
Very well. That somebody told me something. I was informed of something before.
Yes.
Yes, ne comme ñoom 13 million boobu noonu pour that particular procurement.
That 30 million that was proposed for.
That was for the procurement.
For the procurement.
Ku nekk am nga loo xam ne there is a share for you.
Everybody got a share therein.
Loolu laa jël issue.
That is what I realized.
And so they only came back to you at the time because they got rejected.
Nena dañ ñëw si yow jamono boobu parce que ñoom dañ leen rejectoon fële.
Exactly, you are right, counsel.
Exactly, that's correct.
Parce que
Because
rejection ni bidding boobu noonu.
that bidding that which was rejected.
Moom CEO be.
The CEO.
Daf ma oo.
He called me.
Pour ñu prepare a procurement plan.
To prepare a procurement plan.
Not me man kenn solely pour ma def ko.
Not me solely to prepare it.
Waaye dama waroon na le with the help of the then acting director of internal audit.
But I'll do it in the help of the then internal auditor.
And the then acting finance manager Ibu Drame.
And the then acting finance manager Ibu Drame.
We sat on a Saturday pour ñu def that procurement plan parce que daf ñu defaral ñu honorarium pour that pour ñu prepare that procurement plan.
We were told to prepare it. It falls on a Saturday, and we were prepared, or we were ready to be given a honorarium.
Why, based on expertise on procurement.
But based on the experience or expertise I have in the procurement.
You def my inputs with the then director of internal audit.
I then give my inputs to the then director of audit.
You def liñ di wara def ba pare ñu war ko pass.
We did all we need to do already, and we are ready to pass it.
Mom deke dafa dem wax ak the then finance manager Ibu Drame.
He then went and discussed with the then finance manager Ibu Drame.
Leke ñom dañ ko def on their own.
And while instead they did it for their own.
Without ñun ñu xam.
Without our consent or knowledge.
Benn time la talk.
One time I was sitting.
You sent me an email that was copied to me.
And they sent me an email that was copied to me.
And it was from GPPA.
And this email was from the GPPA.
So buñ ko bindé an email bobu nonu won ko ne ko.
When that email was written to me.
No, email bi mom lañ ko bind the CEO.
Oh, the email was sent or written to the CEO.
Why dañ mako copy?
But I was copied very well.
Légui bum gisé email bi.
When he saw the email,
he thought ne amna lima de parce que GPPA dañ ko won their frustration ne it was done outside the SPU.
He thought that I have done something because the GPPA they saw him that it was out of.
The procurement plan was done outside the SPU.
Procurement plan outside procurement unit.
Okay, it was done outside the procurement plan.
So I think the GPPA then could send a warning.
So am I right to say that what you have said is that the procurement plan was done outside the special procurement unit, the SPU? Correct?
That's very correct.
That's
Council.
very correct.
Please proceed.
Go ahead.
So,
when he saw that,
mu write back to GPPA.
He then wrote back to GPPA.
Mu wone ne,
showing them that
man dama am an interference.
I have an interference
Bima def.
That I did.
Mota GPPA binda lolo.
This is the reason, or that is why GPPA wrote that.
GPPA binda wrote back to him.
The GPPA then wrote back to him.
One konyom sent frustration in Banjul City Council under his leadership.
Showing him that there are frustration in Banjul City Council under his leadership.
With compliance, they am compliance. They are under
compliance. They don't have compliance.
So no more innocent correspondence with door from back and forth between me and him.
That is how our correspondence started between myself and him back and forth.
Do you have this correspondence?
Yes,
And
I have the
got
correspondence with
yes,
me.
I do.
Right, can we please see it?
And I'm mun nañ ko gis.
These are the two memos from Fatuta. Wait. The contracts committee meeting, they called me for the 13 million. My redeployment letter. My indefinite suspension. Council, should I give you all the correspondence or bit by bit?
You can do it bit by bit as you
Yes, because
state
I've
your
mentioned
evidence.
about the memo that was written by Fatutal, the two
Yes,
memos.
Yes.
And this is the contracts committee meeting that he wrote, the memo that he wrote that I should attend the contracts committee meeting.
Very well.
And this is my redeployment letter. And I also have my indefinite suspension, or should I wait till I come
Yes,
up to that?
till we reach to that point. How about the correspondence as well with GPA?
I'm having it. That's it.
The ones with Mustafa
Yeah,
Bacheli,
yeah.
you have it?
There's another one. Sorry. This is the compliance and performance audit report. Yes, that's it for now.
We apply to tender some of the documents mentioned via the correspondences between the CEO, the witness, and GPPA, and the redeployment letters as well. The first is a memo dated the 8th of November 2019, addressed to all employees of B.C.C. from Fatutal, Deputy CEO. The subject is procurement. The second is also a memo dated the 29th of November 2019 from the Deputy CEO. The subject payments to vendors. We have contracts committee meeting where the various addresses were invited to the meeting, 20th of June 2020. The redeployment letter of yes, we will reach the stage where you were redeployed from the procurement unit to the rates unit. We have the annual procurement plan. The date is 26th of June 2020. The subject is B.C.C. Annual Procurement Plan 2020. We have a response from GPA addressed to the Chief Executive Officer on the 7th of July 2020. The subject is B.C.C. Annual Procurement Plan 2020. Signed by Ibrahim Sanyang for the Director General. We have an annual procurement plan for 2020, signed by Njie, Procurement Officer, B.C.C. We have a letter addressed to the Chief Executive Officer, Banjul City Council. The date is 27th of June 2019, with the subject compliance and performance audit for 2017-2018 and 2018 fiscal year. Signed by Jamila Odum, Director General. All to be admitted into evidence and marked accordingly.
Yes, these are original copies of the Okay. Thank you.
A memo dated the 8th of November 2019, addressed to all employees of B.C.C. from Fatutal, Deputy CEO, and the subject is procurement. A memo dated the 29th of November 2019. The memo is addressed to all employees of B.C.C. and it emanated from Fatutal, Deputy CEO, and the subject is payments to vendors. A letter dated the 23rd of June 2020 with reference 16/BCC/50/volume 1. It is addressed to the CEO, Deputy Mayor, Councillor, Acting Director of Admin, Acting Director of Finance, Acting Director of Audit, Municipal Engineer, and Acting Procurement Officer. And the names are therein. The letter has the subject contract committee meeting. It is signed by the CEO and it is copied to the Lord Mayor B.C.C. and a file copy is maintained. A letter dated the 26th of June 2020 with reference 53/BCC/9/volume 2. It is addressed to the Director General GPPA and it has subject re BCC Annual Procurement Plan 2020. It is signed by the CEO, copied to the Lord Mayor, Acting Director of Finance, Acting Procurement Officer, and a file copy is maintained. A letter dated the 27th of June 2019. It is from the Procurement Office. It has reference GPPA/BCC/CPA/105. It is addressed to the Chief Executive Officer. It has the subject compliance and performance audit for 2017-2018. and 2018 fiscal year. It is signed by Jamila Odom for Director General, and a file copy is maintained. A letter dated the 1st of July 2020, it is addressed to the CEO, Banjul City Council. It has subject re B.C.C Annual Procurement Plan 2020. It is signed by Njie, Acting Procurement Officer, B.C.C. It is copied to the Lord Mayor and the Acting Director of Finance, Director General GPPA, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government and Lands, Chairman, Establishment Committee, Local Government Service Commission. A letter dated the 7th of July 2020 from the GPPA. It has reference GPPA stroke BCC stroke APP stroke 99 in brackets IS. It has the subject BCC Annual Procurement Plan 2020. And attached to this letter of the 7th of July 2020 is a letter dated the 11th of February 2015 with reference GPPA stroke BCC stroke 17. It is addressed to the CEO Banjul City Council with the subject recommendation to request a training. It is signed by Samuel D. Mendy for Director General, and a file copy is maintained. Further attached to the said two previous letters is a letter dated the 21st of January 2015 with reference 96 stroke BCC stroke 19 addressed to the Director General GPPA, and it has subject Annual Procurement Plan. It is signed by the CEO. It is copied to the Lord Mayor, BCC, Director of Admin, BCC, Director of Finance, Chairman, Finance Committee, and a file copy is maintained. These documents are admitted together in a bundle as exhibit in evidence, and they are marked as LGC/BCC/IN/003.
As the Commission places. Now, you did not agree to do what they wanted you to do.
Nena kon yow nanguloon si ñoom luñ bëgg pour nga def.
Wa nanguma won ba pare cancel.
I disagree. And after
Those
cancel,
are original copies. Can I have a copy of it, please? Also.
For the purpose of the records, Mr. Interpreter?
yes, these are original copies. Can I have the original copies, or can I give you photocopies?
Yes. You can make the application to the Commission, to the Chairman.
Nena mun nga apply si commission bi.
Madam Chair, those are original copies. Can I have a copy of those documents?
Yes, we have admitted the original copies. I will direct the registrar to make copies available to you.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Registrar, you are directed to copy this exhibit LGC/BCC/IN/003 and provide the said copies to the witness.
Yes. I will read one of the letters that you wrote to the Chief Executive Officer, Mustafa Bachili.
Nena dana jangal ben letter bi nga xamne yow sa bop ya ko bind si executive moy Mr. Bachili.
It is dated the 1st of July 2020.
Nena 1st of July 2020.
It reads, please allow me to, with courtesy, respond and make clarification on the above caption issue in relation to the preparation and submission of a procurement plan prescribed by the JPA as captured on the letter dated 26th of June 2020. 26th of June 2020. Referenced 53/BCC/9/2, addressed to the GPA and copied to me, expressing my lack of commitment to my responsibilities. It is rather unfortunate that there is an attempt to tarnish my ethics regarding the preparation of the procurement plan in question, when in fact I have nothing whatsoever to do with this at the latter stage. Please kindly refresh your memory when you personally called me on the fact that when convened on the 11th of June 2020, I did emphasize that it was safer and prudent to consult GPPA to acquire the standard and recommended template from them and all other necessary guidelines to make sure we comply in accordance with the GPA procedures. Sir, you offered an incentive or honorarium for the 3 staffs involved, that is the acting procurement officer, acting finance manager, and acting internal auditor, to work overtime and weekend from 12th to 14th of June 2020 to work on the procurement plan. If you could please further recall, I had to insist on visiting the GPA office for consultation and advice. In fact, you instructed your driver to take me to GPA, after much debate, when finally I was able to convince you to instruct your driver to take me. Sir, please recollect my visit to GPA, which was very fruitful, since I was able to access the new and right template and guidelines for the preparation of the procurement plan, which I personally handed over to you, expecting that a meeting would be called or instructions given or even plan for the preparation of the procurement plan as per the template and guidelines. But nothing of that sort happened. I was therefore disappointed as usual and dumbfounded when I read your letter addressed to GPA and copied to me in reaction to your submission of a deficit procurement plan, which I have no knowledge of, nor did I have any final input in it, and yet be blamed for a crime that was never committed. Furthermore, associating this to my lack of commitment to duty, with all due respect, sir, is a manifestation of unethical administrative value. Please take note that there is no material evidence or exhibit to pursue my lack of commitment to duty, when I can provide evidence demonstrating the frustration of former procurement officers of our institution under your leadership from the inception of the procurement unit in June 2014, which I was appointed as the assistant procurement officer. I count on your cooperation to follow GPA rules and regulations, which can help support and add value to my role as the assistant procurement officer. Yours sincerely, Njie, procurement officer, B.C.C. Now, you wrote this to him.
Yes,
I wrote this letter to him to respond to the letter that he wrote to me after he was written by the GPPA.
And this is referencing a letter that, yes, he wrote to GPA, correct? On the 26th of June 2020.
Nena letter la binga amne mom bindena ko GPPA bobu nga ko tontu non binga amne bindena ko 26th of
June
2020.
Wow, he's
Yes.
very right. Moy letter bim bina GPPA.
That is
Letter
right, you are
bim bina
right.
GPPA bobu la la binda.
That is the letter that he wrote to the GPPA. That is what he wrote.
Wow, pour wane command suma incompetence liggéey bi.
To show my incompetence in the work.
Manit non la ko tonto pour won ko ne ko momit lim def mo jaadot lolo tax manit ma respond back to his letter.
That is my response to him, to show him that what he have did was not right.
Now, let me read the letter of the 26th of June 2020, addressed to the Director General, GPA, Caribbean Avenue, KM. Says, B.C.C. Annual Procurement Plan 2020. Attached to this letter is an email from a member of your compliance team on the above mentioned subject, copied to both the mayor and myself. We, however, regret the fact that this is officially unacceptable by the management of the council as a channel of communication. I have written on 2 occasions to your institution looking for expertise in the preparation of our annual procurement plan in futility, especially in the absence of a specialized procurement unit. Some time ago, a senior procurement officer was successfully interviewed by the Local Government Service Commission in bracket, body responsible for hiring council's senior staff members, but later rejected the job offer. The commission has still not filled the vacancies forwarded, which includes the senior procurement officer and vital to form the basis of a properly constituted SPU, that's a special procurement unit. In the meantime, we have to make use of an acting procurement officer who is totally not committed to the job, except for scouting invoices. As a form of compliance, we provided honorarium to the assistant procurement officer, assistant finance manager, and assistant internal auditor to form a team and meet the various section heads in the production of the plan. To say that we are grossly violating the regular 2022, I believe it's rule maybe, but it is the regular 22 through hearsay. Also, having given the above narrative is really unfair on us. I count on your usual support and understanding. Yours faithfully, the Chief Executive Officer, Mustafa Bachili. Now, GPA responded, right? In 2020 days, in email.
No, email.
Email and GPPA jeka send.
It was the email that they first sent.
Yes.
Yes. The procurement plan.
To see that the procurement plan.
Right. Outside the procurement unit.
It was done outside the procurement unit.
So more mubina.
Right.
Then he then wrote.
Man.
To show that myself.
It was a hearsay from man Mawa GPPA in a procurement plan wasn't done in the procurement unit.
That it was a hearsay from me that I informed the procurement that this procurement plan was done out of the procurement unit. So
no labile pull turn to GPPA.
That is how he wrote to respond to the GPPA.
Manta mabinda.
Then I wrote.
Parce que the letter ambe daf ko copied siman.
Because he copied a letter to me, so I wrote.
Ma respond. I think the man can respond before GPPA or GPPA tam then respond to.
I'm not sure.
Letter.
I think I responded before the GPPA.
Why GPPA tam respond?
They responded.
Duka one come mom.
Showing him that he himself.
Momet nyaka the management nyaka compliant since mom inception bim neke BCC.
Since he lack of compliance since the inception, he started at the B.C.C. Since the inception.
You're right. So the letter via email from GPA was dated the 25th of June 2020.
And GPA sent email be 25th of June 2020.
It reads, "Good day. GPA acknowledges receipt of your annual procurement plan for 2020. From your submitted procurement plan, it was obvious that the said plan was not prepared by your procurement officer or SPU. This practice is a gross violation of the public procurement regulations, section 2020, paragraph P, subparagraph T. Subsequently, you are advised to desist from the practice and ensure that the procurement officer, SPU, undertake all procurement functions as enshrined in regulations 22. Now, when he responded, B.C.C. further responded. The last letter I will read, it reads, on the 7th of July 2020, addressed to the Chief Executive Officer, that's from B.C.C. B.C.C. Annual Procurement Plan 2020. It says he made reference to the letter of the 26th of June 2020. It reads, first, your expression regret that you expressed regret that the Lord Mayor's was copied with our email dated the 25th of June 2020 and relates to captioned subject matter. Please be informed that the authority strongly disagrees that it was officially wrong for it to have sent a letter to the council and copied the Lord Mayor's. Secondly, remember that your procurement plan was sent via email and we responded to that email. According to our records, the Lord Mayor is being copied for almost all the letters or correspondences, including those coming from the council to the authority. Further, our correspondences with local government authorities, including KMC and other regional councils, their chairman or mayor are always copied, and therefore the B.C.C. cannot be an exception. Therefore, it is in order to have copied the Lord Mayors. Second, you indicated that you wrote on 2 occasions to the authority for expertise in the preparation of your annual procurement plan in fertility, especially in the absence of a specialized procurement unit. Yes, we received these letters, and we are really appreciative of you requesting for our expertise, as it is part of our mandate to train, guide, or provide technical expertise to our stakeholders when needed. However, may I refer you to your letter reference 96/B.C.C/91, dated the 21st of January 2015, with the Lord Mayor copied, and I respond via our letter GPPA/B.C.C/73, dated 11th of February 2015. The authority is so concerned with B.C.C's failure and refusal to comply with the GPA rules, regulations, and instructions, despite the authority having pointed out the specifics in all our previous compliance review reports. Areas of incorrect procedures which require transformation, as always recommended to the concerned authorities during our exit meeting, and further highlighted in the numerous compliance review reports for the past years. Regrettably, your council has been persistently non-compliant for the past 4 years, as can be clearly seen on the table below. 2015, the scores were 20%. 2016, the scores were 32%. 2017, 45%. 2018, 46%. We doubt even this percentage. We think it's about 10% or 15% based on the evidence we have seen in the commission, independent from the commissioners. Interesting, the conclusion of each of our annual compliance review reports, among other non-compliance issues, we have been strongly recommending for you to formally establish a functional specialized procurement unit, and that immediate training be arranged for the officers responsible for procurement at your own request, but to no avail. Please note that B.C.C is the only council without a functional SPU. Well, that's not correct. There are others that have no functional unit as well. The B.C.C should understand that it is using taxpayers' money, and as it is obligated to comply with the GPA's rules and regulations. Given the volume of your transactions, the GPA will be more than willing to assist and set up, and the letter goes on. Yes. So this is the letter that you are referring to, correct? Where it is clearly stated by GPA that under Mr. Bachili's administration as the CEO,
Mr. Bachili CEO,
under his administration as CEO,
as a CEO,
and the mayor Rahim Malik Law as the mayor, they were persistently disregarding procurement rules and regulations.
Rules.
This is GPA's opinion. And of course, their opinion is based on facts. You have also mirrored the same fact. The fact that you as an assistant procurement officer,
assistant procurement officer,
you have clearly explained that they were not following procurement regulations. Correct?
Wow, council,
council, that is the truth.
Yes, Ms. Njie,
yes.
I believe it's a convenient point. We are stopping here. We will continue your evidence tomorrow morning.
We may rise.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.